everyone, today we're going to be talking about fundamentals versus technicals, and we're pretty much going to focus most of the video on fundamentals, but I need to kind of break down the delineation with the two. So welcome everyone, I am lead trainer with Stocks Trade, Tim Bohen, and when we talk about fundamentals and technicals, kind of get some terms out of the way here. Fundamentals are like the business, the financials, the profit, the loss, the earnings per share, forward-looking projections, more of like the data. And the reason I want to mention technicals, and by the way, definitely check out the rest of the channel. We have a ton of technical analysis videos and tutorials, etc. So, but I need to explain technicals because people get kind of confused between the two. And when we say technicals, we're not talking about like the guts of this laptop. What we're talking about is the chart, price action, technical indicators like moving averages or VWAP or Bollinger Bands or RSI, but really just the chart is the technicals, okay? And when you're talking short-term trading, we care about the fundamentals because we need to know the underlying structure of the move, but typically we're very technical based, chart based. You'll hear chart patterns, price action. Again, you'll hear these technical indicators. But you have to have an equal balance because you need to know, listen, if you're charting some stock that's moving for no reason or very dubious reason or as a dilution target, because dilution goes under the fundamentals as well, you can maybe start seeing things that aren't really there in the chart, okay? So that being said, if you're looking for the technical stuff, after this video, make sure you watch this one. After this one, hit the rest of the channel. We've got them all broke down, talking about technical analysis. We'll save that for another day, okay? Back to fundamentals. So fundamentals are all encompassing, but they're many things. Maybe break out a notepad and write these things down. Right up, starting at the big picture view, you're gonna talk about sector, okay? Many of you have heard about hot sectors. Everyone you talk to in the day trading land, everyone will beg you to focus on hot sectors. And when I say that, could be electric vehicles, could be artificial intelligence. You know, right now, summer 2023, artificial intelligence stocks all over the place. It's the hottest sector. Maybe it's getting pretty close to being the hottest sector I've ever seen. Maybe weed stocks, you know, maybe psychedelic stocks, solar stocks. Okay, those are all the sectors. And the reason I talk about it as the big picture, you always want to start there. Like, especially as a new trader that can only trade a few stocks, you really want to stay away from non-hot sector stuff because there's a lot of stocks that move for no reason, and they move like they move because there is no underlying reason. So now you get into some stock that maybe somebody told you about or you found on your scan, and it just does nothing. Okay, we don't want that. We want big moves so we can grow our account, we can accomplish our goals. So right off the bat, especially if you're under the PDT or you're only able to trade a full-time or trade a few times a week, the biggest thing you need to do is just completely ignore anything that's outside a hot sector. And this is an unpopular answer, but if there is no hot sector, which typically we only go about a week between hot sectors, but if there is no current hot sector, don't trade. I know people hate that and they don't like that, but as a new trader with a small account, you have to focus on the best opportunities. No hot sector, no trade. Next thing, we're gonna step down and we're gonna look at the news, okay? The news is a fundamental event. So we want hot sectors with current news. Typically in day trading land, it's about a 24-hour to 48-hour news cycle. So if something is old, 3, 4, 5, 6 days old, it's probably an ignore. But if you got a press release night before, morning of, maybe like a Friday afternoon press release and you're trading the stock Monday morning, that's what you want to look for. Then you're going to kind of look to build that trade idea. And what you really like to see, now I know this is rare in lower priced, like true penny stocks, but you will very frequently find stocks that fit this criteria in that $5, $7, $10 range, which are still small stocks that you can trade with a small account. And the criteria we're looking for are sales and profitability. And I smile because if you've been around small cap stocks, a massive majority of them are not, some of them have zero sales or like, $1,000 a year, and almost all of them have no profits and a significant majority of them lose money. Now, that doesn't mean they're in a void. You just need to know what you're trading. And listen, with biotechs, understand that biotech stocks, are a home run business, okay? It's not a knock against small cap biotechs. Just when I say a home run business, you invest for years and years and years and years, and then you launch a Viagra, okay? And you spent 5 to 7 years developing that, and now you've got one of the most successful drugs of all time. That's just the business model. So you don't have to worry about that they don't make any money, but you want to be conscious of the burn rate, okay? And the reason we're conscious of the burn rate, that's how much money they're going through, is the faster they go through cash, the more likely they are to do a dilution. Because we all know that these low price stocks, especially biotechs, they sell one thing. Write this down, okay? This is always like an eye opener to new and even intermediate traders. You need to understand, especially biotechs, but almost all small cap stocks, they sell one thing, stock, okay? They're always looking to do that next dilution, because think about it. If you got no sales, which means you got no profits, how do you pay the rent? How do you pay for R&D? How do you pay staff? How do you pay the insurance? How do you pay to paint the office, to buy new gear? You need money. So they're always dilution targets. So you want to be conscious of that burn rate and then look at the active filings. Now there's a lot of different ways to look at the active filings. Check out our other channel. We talk about that a lot. But be conscious of that, earnings per share, all of the cash on hand. So you can look at the burn rate versus cash on hand, and you can kind of time out the likelihood that they're going to do a stock dilution, which remember, dilutions drastically lower the price, because when we talk about stock dilutions, that means there's more shares out there. If there's more shares out there and nothing has changed on the business side, that means the stock price is going to come down. Creates great short selling opportunities, by the way, too. So always start, the biggest point of this is what you're trying to do is, I always think of it like a funnel, okay? And you're constantly trying to compress that funnel down to the point where you can find that one or maybe two best opportunities of the day. So write these things down. We're going to start out with hot sectors. If there's no hot sector, there's no trade. Then we're going to focus on stocks with current news, 20 to 48 hours. Newer the news, the better. Okay, day traders are very fickle. We love those 8:30 a.m. press releases on a stock that we're trading into the market open. The news is like an hour old. But then we're going to continue to compress that down, looking for the stocks that ideally have profits, have an actual business, aren't dilution targets, and then have those good technical charts. And then that creates the highest probability setup. Now, one thing I always want to remind you, listen, you can focus on all these things, and you can put all the odds in your favor, you can still have a losing trade. That's why you always have to be diligent on your risk management, always have a stop loss, and always stick to it. But over time, good decision making creates profitable trading. And the more good decisions you can make, the more discipline you can build, the more focus you can build over time, the higher your likelihood of success. So I know this is just a 7-minute video or so. So if you want more, keep in mind that we do, in the Stocks to Trade Daily Income Trader System, 6 live webinars a day, every single day, starting out at 8 a.m. all the way up until 9 p.m. Eastern, even on weekends, and they're 100% free. So hopefully you got a good grasp of technicals versus fundamentals and understand the idea of how we get down to that best play. But these webinars are about an hour and a half a day, much more technical, much more detailed, 100% live too. Listen, I love that you're here on the channel, but obviously this video is pre-recorded. You can jump on those live webinars and ask live Q&A during the market to really maximize your trading potential.